What's up? What's up? Welcome to the Big Brand MMA Tilt Zone, episode 1. First episode, something different, something different. If it's your first time listening, I'm BigSteve. Episodes usually go nothing like this. I usually just break down every single card, try and make money on UFC or regionals. This is going to be not educational at all. I'm just going to be going over my most tilting losing bets over the past week or 2 weeks, whatever it may be. It's the first episode. It could be the last episode. We'll see if you guys like it. If you hate it, then that's it. It is a very special episode. It is my birthday today. It's 12 o'clock now in the afternoon, and I'm already drinking. So even if I do a second episode of this, it's never going to be like this again. So after this, I'm going to get absolutely lit and go out to the city. So just happy to put August behind me. Worst August I've ever had as a full-time bettor. And yeah, lost. I just calculated now after donating another $150 on LFA Brazil. Lost almost 9,000, 8,800, which is not even 5 units. It's better than I expected, but the overall profit for the year, after 2 break-even months, it's 16,000.7. So, people say zoom out, and when you're on a losing streak, that makes you feel better with all your profit, which is true. I'm still $16,000 up, but then you look at it in a different light, and 8 months worth of work for 16,000 profit. It's kind of sad, but I'm over it. I'm also on $500 units, which is very depressing. I bet a couple of weeks in a row on $500 units, and it's just like, it's not fun. It's not fun going from $2,000 units, but hey, I'm kind of over it now. It's the business is doing better. Maybe this is a blessing. So we'll see. We'll see, and we'll go over some tilting experiences, right? All right. Let's give it a crack, shall we? Let's see where to start. Let me share my screen. I'll start at UFC 305. So this should be all right. By the way, if you listen to the show often, right, it's usually boring according to the people. I usually pass a lot. So, see how this will go. I had a lot of fun after one of the events. I can't remember which one it was. Maybe it was 305 when I was just almost lost my mind from all the tilt. And I'll speak about one of the fighters that almost made me retire. And I had fun. So I thought in my worst moment, just being tilted every single week, let's see if this is an interesting show. Complete entertainment, nothing educational. So if you're one of my passionate listeners that just listens to my boring breakdowns for my 1-2 bets per week, you probably won't like this. There'll be no betting discussion. But yeah, let's see how we go, shall we? Cavalcante KO under 1.5, a lock. Ko's been KO'd twice and seems to give his back up. Mate, I haven't looked into any contender series. Are the things even out yet? Do we even have totals? We barely even have odds at this time. I doubt it. But yeah, I'll get back to you next week. Tune into the show with Subliminal. That's back on again. All right, so UFC 305, right? So, pass on Jesus Aguilar, no tilt there. I Black Cannon Song, whatever. Tom Nolan, whatever. So before I get into the main tilting bet for this whole month, I would say, I'll give a shout out to Jack Jenkins. Honorable mention, I should say. This man, I had under 2.5, lock parlay with Song and someone else, which they both hit, and that hit too. But this man had me screaming at the TV. Yes, good point, dog. This man had me screaming at the TV, and I was like, "Come on, man!" Like, he hurts Gilbert Burns multiple times, drops him, and just dancing over him, doing nothing. You can hear his coaches screaming, and I was like, "Man, this is." I already lost a couple of bets up to this point, but I'm like, "This is the one bet that needs to hit." There is no way if this gets into round 3, I can see Jack Jenkins actually ruining this and going over 2.5. Like, he's the worst finisher there is. And the contender series fight that when he was beating the guy for a hot 15 minutes, he just finished him right before the fight ended. So he's a horrible finisher. And he goes into round 3. I was like, come on, man. And then I even turned it off. I don't ever lose my emotions, but I was screaming at this guy how stupid he could possibly be. Luckily, he finishes him, but I mean, he really carried Herbert Burns. So that's not on my agenda today. I've got a few fighters on my agenda, but honorable mention to Jack Jenkins. Couple of bad bets. So here we go. So we go up to Ricardo Ramos, Josh Kulibao, right? So Josh Kulibao, I'll take this fight. Past, a lot of people on Ramos, Ricardo Ramos. Let me just give her his like and subscribe. It's pissed me off. A lot of people on Ricardo Ramos, I get it, but after tape, I'm like, I'd rather play Kulibao Juice. He's the more trustworthy. He's got better heart, better cardio, better chin. He might get his back taken. He seems to get his back taken by every single person, so I'm passing. But the calf kick's going to be there. He's got more power. Ramos has no hands. He's basically just fading the spinning elbow and the rear naked choke, right? So I'm passing at this point. Right before the fight goes, he gets up to pick him. So I put in half a unit, right? I have to. I have to trust my gut. Fight starts out beautiful. Chewing up that calf, lighting him up. No takedowns by Ramos. Beautiful, beautiful. My luck is turning. My money line bets are good. My reads are good. Hurts him to the calf. I'm like, this fight is not going to make it the distance. Goes to finish him, stumbles over himself, gets his back taken. Right? Gets his back taken. So I'm like, oh, typical. But, that was on tape. We know everyone can take his back. Danny Silva, even Choi. He drops Choi 5 times in round 1, and he goes to a split decision and gets his back taken by Choi, a Muay Thai striker. So now he's got his back, but on tape I said, Ramos doesn't have the best rear naked choke, and he almost finishes him. So here I'm sweating. The round ends. He survives. Good on Josh Kulibao. In my gut, I'm like, this fight is over. Like that calf is compromised. Round 2 comes out, beating that calf, drops him, and then again, just standing over him, doing the Jack Jenkins. The coaches are screaming at him. He's screaming at him, and he's just grabbing his foot. He's punching his foot, and I've still got that anger from Jack Jenkins, and I'm like, what are you doing, mate? What are you achieving by standing over him, letting him recover? That's my pet peeve. That's one of my number one pet peeves. I don't think there's another pet peeve that's number one in MMA betting than fighters that hurt someone, then stand over him and don't let him stand up, and they can't make a decision. And I'm like, what are you doing? And it just went on for what, 2-3 minutes? It went on it felt like an eternity. And I'm just like screaming again. I'm like, what are these fighters doing to me? They're trying to kill me. My stress levels are through the roof. I've made a good bet. He's probably 2-0 up at this point. Maybe that's a 10-8. But what are these guys doing to me? So then he gets up, and whatever, his round ends, and his coaches are like, stop messing around. They start giving him a grilling. I'm like, thank you. Let this idiot know. Let him know. And he comes out in round 2, and I'm still chill. Like, how does Ramos come back from this? He's cooked. His calf is cooked. Kulibao is the better striker. He showed that he won't get submitted. This goes to a decision, or Kulibao finishes him here. A couple calf kicks. And then halfway through round 2, it's quite competitive. Ramos has switched stances, and and he's throwing. He's showing heart. And I'm like, oh no, what's going on here? Right? Whenever I bet on a fighter against the calf kicker, it's a couple calf kicks and he's done. Right? Penny Kianzad versus Rosas. Can't switch stances at all. Can't make an adjustment. Right? She's been fighting how many times? How much? 30 years? 20 years? Can't switch stances. Ramos comes out. This guy barely has any strike. Comes out and he's throwing and he's fighting southpaw. He's showing heart. And he's actually winning the round. He's landing some strikes on Kulibao. Kulibao seems cooked. Seems like coaches screaming at him has broken his confidence. Oh, I didn't even mention the pirouette. The pirouette is in the thumbnail. He does that pirouette in round 2. When that happened, I was like, idiot, this is going to lose. And he seems broken. And then I'm like, this is a really competitive round 3 because I've done this long enough. I'm like, oh no, I know where this is going. Right? 2.5 minutes through round 2 is 3. It's competitive. And I'm like, oh no. And then he gets taken down, and I'm like, all right, this has potential to be a split. And I'm just like, wow, MMA gods, right? You know me, I have a really good relationship with MMA gods. Nothing tilts me, unless it's something like this. And we have a great relationship. Bad variance, I'll accept it. I know I'm getting good variance. And this fight is ending, and I've had a few bad split decisions on this streak. So I'm like, it's not going to happen here, surely. Right? And I'm like, it's in Australia. Josh Kulibao, has been winning 13 minutes of this fight. Got his back taken in round 1, got his back taken in round 3, and I'm like to the MMA gods. I know this is life for me to get robbed, and at this point, I was at a point where my bankroll, when I was really thinking, if I lose this bet, I might have to reduce my units, and I don't want to do that. I might have to retire. So I was like, MMA gods, give me a sign here. Give me a sign. Goes to split, and it loses. And I was like, wow, that is, how do you lose that fight? SC for all. I'm not drinking a beer, but I'm drinking red wine. Right here. The birthday celebrations have started, so you probably can't tell I'm a little bit tipsy, but yeah. So yeah, that loses. And I'm just a broken man. I'm just a broken man. So I will say, if I was ever going to retire from gambling because of one fighter, it would have been this man right here, Josh Kulibau. That right there, the tilt that I had from that fight alone, and because I really needed that win. I also said if he wins, because I had 3 back-to-back pick'em fights. I had Luana Santos at pick'em when the tons of money came in on it, lost. I had Kulibau at pick'em, and I was going to play Walter Walker at slight plus money. And that, if you were in the Discord, that was my favorite money line. And I made a decision, an educated guess, that Walter Walker is not going to get knocked out in round 1. If that doesn't happen, he should look a massive favorite because Tafa has horrible decision equity. I said if Josh Kulibau wins, I'll put a whole unit, $2,000 on Walker. Because, losing 2 back-to-back pick'em fights just broke me. And I lost. I lost Santos and I lost Kulibau. So then I pass on Walker and then he gets the heel hook. So I'm just a broken man at this point. I'm just a broken man. So yeah, that was probably, I've got a few fighters on the list for episode 1. That was easily the worst, the most tilting experience. And the man almost made me retire. I paid off a few debts that I had. I looked at my bankroll and I was like, that's rough. That's rough, Josh Kulibau. I absolutely hate your guts. Yeah, maybe you should take up ballet instead. Rest of the card, not much tilt. It is what it is. Let's move on. Let's move on to the contender series, shall we? Let's look at the comments. Got a few comments. Surprised a lot of you are listening to this. But yeah, let's continue on. Lou Betcher, this is the content I want. Yeah, this is typical Lou Betcher content. Absolutely no value, just pure entertainment. Have you mentioned Cody Brundage yet for costing all of us money? No, I didn't go that far back. I thought let's keep it recent, right? If it's going to be a weekly podcast, let's keep it recent. Shelter, best breakdown channel in the game. You'll turn around. Oh, well, that's nice of you. I guess you don't find me boring, my friend. Mia, how can Josh be up 2 rounds? Well, if you're looking at damage versus control, Kulibau essentially, he wobbled him. He stumbled him with the calf kick, so he hurt him. You can consider that like a knockdown or a stumble, right? And then he just defended a rear naked choke for the rest of the round. So that it's only one man was hurt in that round, and that was Ramos. So it's unfortunate. But how do you cap in close submission attempts, right? Submissions are like you either submit the guy or you don't. You didn't submit him, so your submission attempt wasn't good enough. That's my thing. But he clearly got rocked with the calf kick. He compromised his leg. It is what it is. Tristan, I also bet Josh Kulibau. Yep, worst IQ. Because it was on tape. It was on tape. He drops Choi 5 times. He goes to a split decision. It's just the way he fights. Really shocked he managed to fumble that. Correct. But that's the variance that we're in. Jake, tilt zone it is. Just missed an LFA MMA over 2.5 rounds by 2 seconds. Mate, I was going to be on that exact play. I would have lost my mind. But people steamed it to minus 200. So I didn't bet it. Dogfather could have bet Ramos won instead of losing. Yeah. Ramos is Dogfather's had a bit of good variance while the rest of us have had bad. The rest of the sharps have had bad variance. And he's lapping it up like usual. But it's all right, he'll cry soon enough. And I'll be there for it. Does Josh Kulibau have anything between his ears? Nah, probably just some worms or something. He's got the Homer Simpson music playing. Virgo season, let's go. Happy birthday, SC for all. Let's move on. So contender series, decent episode. I taped this card way too much. I dialed it back. I said I need to make profit, right? So as I mentioned a few times on my Contender Series podcast, I tape, I retape. There's only 5 fights. Sometimes not much footage. So I went deep. I'm like, let's just find 1 or 2 good bets to profit this week and move on. Still on $2,000 units, so I haven't really dropped. Cody Haddon, I said it was the same as Kavanaugh on the first episode. First fight of both cards. He was a favorite. He was a little bit too juiced, but I'd rather play him than the dog. Billy Brown was a popular dog. I saw people playing him. I thought more would come in on him. I didn't do it. He runs through him. I also like the sub. So a lot of his amateurs is getting the rear naked choke. I just couldn't tell, Billy Brand, he actually has good get-ups. Not many people were wrestling him. Whatever, move on. Shit happens. So there's 2 bets I like this fight. I like the Torres Finney over 1.5 at Pick'em, and I like the Romeus under 1.5, but it's a little bit juicy, and I think he correlates with Romeus. I think his life for round 1 KO over Imperato. He's been dropped and knocked out a bunch of times in round 1. And Finney, he's just probably going to wrestle this Cam Roston guy. He's not really a good finisher. But then I see my boy Gianni the Greek. My boy Gianni the Greek was on the same place. He's on the Torres Finney over 1.5, and he's on the Romeus under 1.5. I already locked in the Romeus under 1.5. All the boys were on it. Dogfile, one of my other friends, the line improved. I'm like, I think that's a little bit safer. If he gets out of round 1, Romeus can get on top, ground and pound him. And we go to Torres Finney. I pass. The 1.5 looks amazing value. Goes all the way to decision. And now I'm nervous. I'm nervous as shit. Because I've been here, right? I know very well that when I make a bad selection between 2 bets and one wins, I'm live for the other one to lose. So here comes Quintravious Romeus. Comes in super patient, already a red flag. Drops him with a liver shot. Drops him like a sack of potatoes. And how often do we see that? How often do we see that someone drops like that from a body shot and the fight continues on? Yeah, Romeus jumps into his guard, and of course the ref is going to keep it going. And yeah, that's another $1,000 just like that. I think this was when I decided that I'm dropping my unit size, because after the Cooley bout, I said, all right, I got 3 more days until Contender Series. I can squeeze out some profit. No. Romeus said, no mas. F your profit. Now, but at this point, I'm making good bets now, right? That could have been a 1 shot to the liver under 1.5, easy money. Cooley bout was a good bet. I'm making good bets now. At first, I was making bad bets. Now I'm making good bets, and now the variance is absolutely cucking me. So we go to the UFC, but no tilting bets there, actually. No, wait, there was. Yes, there was 1 tilting bet. I had Zachary Reese, round 1 against Medina, beat the crap out of him, couldn't finish him, whatever. That wasn't really tilting. That was probably a bad bet. I barely plus money. But yeah, he hurt him like multiple times. But then we get to my boy Edmund Shabazian versus GM3, and I was passing on this fight. It was I had a weird feeling with Edmund. Sometimes he spars, sometimes he comes out super aggressive, and the under 1.5 got steamed, and I was like, I don't like this. Don't really like this. It's a bit of a weird fight, But then one of my friends played round 1 KO, and I'm like, yeah, that's perfect. That's perfect. I think all the finishing upside is on Edmund's side. He's got a bunch of round 1 KOs over durable dudes too, right? Like Tavares, etc. And you just have to play it. You have to play it because GM3 is liable to get knocked out by anyone. And the fight starts, and I'm like, here we go. Absolute snail pace. Edmund just staring at him. And GM3 looks so slow. Slow, like in every single fight. And I'm like, what is going on? I'm like, put your foot down, man, and just knock him out. Every single 1-2, it just seems like a knockout blow. But Edmund is just staying on the outside. He's not even covering distance properly. It's like, obviously, he's trying to keep GM3 out of distance, which I get. He doesn't want to get taken down, doesn't want to get submitted, blah, blah. But, man, you got a knockout here. They gave you a huge step down in competition. Your cardio is bad, right? By extending this fight, you put yourself at a risk for GM3 to come back and beat you. Your decision equity is horrible. Just get get in there, land 1-2 to GM3, and then knock him out and get out of there. So no, it crashes and burns. No, not even close. So then he gets into round 2, and I'm like, yeah, this is going to end in under 1.5 rounds, right? Just to spite me, and he almost does, and I'm like, here we go. Now he's going to knock him out. Didn't want to knock him out in round 1, and then the guy survives, and there is justice, there is a God, it doesn't end under 1.5, and GM3 submits him. So good riddance. Very happy about that. He deserves it. Edmund deserves it. I hate his guts. So good on him. But that was quite tilting. The overs and the totals and the unders and the finishing props have been getting really bad variance, which is it makes sense because I've been getting destroyed, and the dogs obviously haven't been cashing. So all the things that I like to bet is getting destroyed. I like chalk as well, but it's about pivoting. The chalk that we've been getting is just really untrustworthy guys. All the dogs have value, so you have to play them. You're getting tempted to play them, and they turn out to have value as the fight is playing out. And then some retard thing happens, and then you lose your bet. That's been the story so far. But all right, so we move on. So, Kulibao almost breaks me. Romeus pretty much breaks me. Edmund, whatever. I'm on $500 units now. I lost $250 there. I don't even have any feelings when I lose that kind of money after being on $2,000 units. But whatever, I'm just playing because I love the game and I can't quit. So we're going to keep on playing even if the units are small. So we're going to Contender. Again, I barely taped this one. I took a bit of a break because just my mental state is now cooked. Jack Duffy, he's on the list. So Nick Piccinini, Jack Duffy. This was a dogger pass for me. I was really close to locking it in. I thought he was the better martial artist. I actually played Duffy in his last A1 combat fight as a dog against that guy that submitted Joshua Van, and he mauled him for 3 rounds. I like him, so I like him. I pass, right? I pass. I'm like, let's be patient here. Let's be careful. And after round 1, I bet Jack Duffy at Pick'em. I'm like, this is a great bet. He might get wrestled in round 2 or 3, but he showed that he can get up. He can stuff the takedowns. He's busted up Nick's leg. The calf is destroyed. It's a clear round 1. It just has to win 1 more round out of the 2, and it's a good bet at Pick'em. He's got all the favorite upside. Round 2 starts. He's doing well for about 1 minute. Shoots for a takedown, then pulls guard, and he gets mauled. And I'm like, what are you doing, man? What are you doing? What are these fighters doing? It's like the tilt already kicks in because it's like, how many good bets can you make? And these guys they're hell-bent. They're hell-bent on fighting like idiots. And now my friend, by the way, my friend was on Duffy. So I'll tell you a little funny story, which is why I think I'm cursed. But I'm like, all right, you know what? He's not going to do this again in round 3 because he can't be that stupid. And his coaches are not that stupid. So he comes out round 3 and his coaches are like, look, don't shoot for takedowns, don't grapple. Just kick the leg. Keep it standing. I'm like, thank you. So the coaches aren't stupid. Let's see if Jack Duffy's stupid. Comes out and, in my opinion, wins round 3. But he changes it up from throwing calf kicks. I think he dropped him with 1 calf kick at the start. Then he comes out southpaw. And he eliminates the calf kick for himself. And I'm like, what are you doing? Why did you switch stances? You took away the calf kick from yourself. And now he's fighting from southpaw. And now he's just throwing body kicks and knees. And to be honest, he was still lining him up. Landed a few teeps to the face, body kicks. He's basically winning the round. But I'm like, if you land a calf kick, you can actually get a big moment. You can get a knockdown. You can get him wobbling on the leg. And that's your round. You might even get a finish. And now he starts throwing lead elbows. And I'm like, what kind of adjustment is this? And I'm just like, I'm sweating the round, but I'm like, he's clearly winning. Even when he gets taken down, he's just getting held up against the cage. Nick is just holding on for dear life. I've been on the other side of these decisions. They don't win. It's a clear 29-28 for Duffy. Damage, just mauled him, outstruck him in every department. Ate a couple of overhands, but it's not enough to lose the fight. Goes to decision, and I hear split, and I'm like, nah. It can't be happening again because I never complain about splits. Some of the worst people are the people that go on Twitter and go, oh, I have the worst luck with splits. and they just, every split that happens, they just post it on Twitter. It's like, get over yourself. Like, victims mentality, it's going to come back around. But according to them, it never comes back around. So I don't have that mindset. And I'm like, it's a split, but I'm going to win because there's just no way. There's no way they're going to rob him. It's such clear as day. And then Nick gets it. And then my friend, the bet Duffy, he goes, wow. He goes, I can't believe it. And he goes, he bet 0.1 unit. And I'm like, mate, you bet 0.1 unit. I live bet it properly. And I'm like, yeah, this luck is just, what does it say then? I'm tilted because Duffy just threw that fight away. Not as bad as Josh Coulibaly. All right, the opponent that he had in front of him was much, much tougher than Ricardo Ramos. But is it not almost identical? Compromises the calf in round 1. Pulls guard in round 2, throws away the round. Wins round 3, but he just made it so hard for himself. Why did he come out in southpaw? And why did he stop throwing calf kicks for lead elbows? Why would you throw elbows? You're trying to keep a distance from a wrestler, and you're throwing near side rear elbows from both sides, left and right. As Shelter955 says, too scrappy for his own good. Correct. If he just took it down a notch, and instead of being so scrappy, just fought smart, even if he doesn't throw a strike for 1 minute, stuff all the takedowns, and make that one strike be a calf kick, you win the round. Anyway, so I'm down half a unit. I have Malcolm Wellmaker by KO, $2.75. That hits. You know what? Made a good bet. Whatever. I'm broke even now. And I almost forgot about this guy. This guy wasn't on my Tilt Zone episode 1 list. I almost forgot about him. But as I went through this Contender Series card, Marco Tulio, this is my last bet. So I have some history with Marcos Tulio. I know him well. I was taping him for LFA. I was taping him for his first Contender Series appearance. I passed on that fight. I was going to play some over-unders, but ultimately passed. And I said to myself, this guy's a bit of an idiot when it comes to finishing. He can finish, but he doesn't do himself any favors. He throws stupid spinning back fists and flying knees instead of just sticking to the basics. So I bet he's under 1.5 against an absolute bum on LFA. They gave him a warm body, and he gets into round 2, and there's 10 seconds to go, and he just knocks him out randomly. And I remember we're all celebrating in the Discord. Horrible bet. And it just felt like Tulio could just knock him out at any point. And he almost didn't. He landed one proper combination when he stopped throwing the stupid flying knees with 10 seconds to go, and he gets it done. So I'm taping this fight, and this Matthews Duclos guy is an absolute bum, right? His chinny is an absolute bum, gets hurt in every fight. It's a setup fight. And I tape Tulio, and I'm like, that's right, I remember this. I know this guy is going to make me pull my hair out if he doesn't get, if I bet the under. And I just not. I've taped it. But the under's now gone up to $1.66. It used to be minus 200. Now it's $1.66. And he can knock out this Duclos guy at any point. And Duclos can maybe knock him out. I'll give him a slim chance. But I'm like, just in case he goes over, like in the LFA fight, what's Tulio KO? Because he can do it at any point. And it's minus 200. It's about 16 cents worse than the under 1.5. I'm like, no, I'll go the under 1.5 because, it just covers me. He really should knock out this guy early, right? Fight starts, and Tulio's doing his thing. He looks gassed after like 3 minutes from doing nothing, doing stupid shit, trying to grapple when he shouldn't. And I go and I'm like, I posted in my Discord. Yeah, watch Tulio knock this guy out 10 seconds after the 1.5 mark. What ended up happening? This guy does nothing, and then he knocks him out at 2 minutes and 40-something seconds. So I'm down again 450. And I'm like, why didn't I just play the KO? And then this idiot just absolutely tilts me again. So another losing week. But it's just these bets. These bets are just tilt city, man. Tilt city. So every single under I've been playing, they're just losing by the worst margins. Romeus drops him to the liver, jumps in his guard. Edmund does nothing round 1. Tulio waits for 10 seconds past to do it. So yeah, that concludes. I don't know if any episode is going to be as good as this, because these Coulibaly, Romeus, Edmund, Duffy, and Tulio, they really take the cake. These guys, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These guys, especially Koulibaly, are going to be in the Hall of Fame of tilt. As I said, Koulibaly must maybe retire. That's how tilted I was. That's how damn tilted I was. Jake, you're watching the Djokovic match. No, but I probably should, eh? Let me see what the score is. He's not losing, I hope. Oh, shit. He is. God damn. Oh, well, he better get this third set. What are the... Seems like Djokovic is not very interested. That's all right. We've seen him come back from worse. What does Shelton say? Turn around by betting brilliant WMMA favorites. Bulletproof. Yeah, I mean, you're right. Well, that's it. That's the episode. That's all it is. It's just me complaining about my most tilting bets. And yeah, subhuman. Koulibaly was one of the most hilarious recent L's. Yeah, I mean, I laugh at those all the time, but it wasn't funny to me then. You either laugh or cry, and I was very close to crying. I'll tell you what. But yes, it's funny to talk about them now, even though they're fresh. I don't know if I'll do this every week. We'll see how this episode goes, how this show goes. If anyone likes this, if not, I am doing it for 3 people. I just thought this would be a good idea. I just had to feel like I should do this. You know, I've got a lot of content, got a lot of tilt. I had stuff to talk about. I'm not going to do it every week. There's no point unless I've got like 3 things I'm tilted about every week, and I hope not, because that means my luck is not turned around, and I'm literally going to blow a gasket in my brain if my luck doesn't turn around. But yeah, we'll see. Maybe once a month, maybe once every 2 months. I'll go over all the tilting results in the last 2 months and just laugh about it. Maybe have a red wine and go from there. If there's no questions, like and subscribe. I'm going to go watch Djokovic now tilt me in the tennis. But either way, it's my birthday, so I'm going to go out and have a lot of fun. Leave August behind me. And yeah, start September fresh. Looking forward to it. Build up the bankroll. The business is doing a little better, graphic design business. So yeah, it'll be a story to tell the kids. The comeback. The comebacks are always great. Mark. I enjoyed the show. Sorry in the comments. That's all right, mate. You don't have to comment. Content complaining about losing bets you made Loki super unsaturated market. Well, yeah, that's the thing. Who else has done this? I mean, people do recaps all the time, but to be honest, they're boring as shit. I don't like him. I don't even like my recap, but I just do it because it's important. And but yeah, going on a show and just whinging and whinging, you know, tipsy over the most funniest losses. I think that's a bit different. I think if we can all laugh at our losses, it all just gets a little bit easier. Congrats on Red Star. Thank you, my friend. You know that coach came back, the coach that qualified us for the first time for Champions League in like 20 years. He's back, so it's a good team. Despite my not scoring a goal. Yeah, they got smashed, man. Your team got smashed. In the first leg, in the second leg, yeah, they got absolutely pummeled. Kiwi Brew, thank you very much. Thanks for the donation last week. I don't know how to get that money, but it's all right. All right, peace out. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you next week for the Contender Series.